Okay, I'm speaking with Laramie County Clerk Debra Lee. And Debra, as we all know, voting patterns are a bit different this year because of COVID-19. First of all, I understand you've had an unusually high number of requests for absentee ballots. Is that right?
Yes. In fact, as of yesterday, we've mailed out over 10,000 absentee ballots.
And how does that compare?
And normally, it's about 1,600.
So we're almost at 10 times, and we're not even close to being done yet.
Correct. Yeah, and we do urge those who were even thinking about getting an absentee ballot to make their request sooner rather than later, because those ballots need time to arrive to the voter in the mail, and then the voter needs time, of course, to make their choices and then get their ballot back to us so it can be entered into the count.
Now, how will this change the way you do things on election night, if it does?
Well, by law, we are not supposed to process the absentee ballots until the day of the election. So this is going to require all hands on deck to process those absentee ballots, which means looking at the envelope, making sure that the voter has signed the affidavit, and then we open up the envelope and separate the ballot from its envelope, and then we have to prepare it to go through the scanner. So, it's a labor-intensive process, and it may take, I anticipate it will take considerable amount of time.
Does this mean we'll be later than usual getting election results?
That is likely.
Do we know how much later? Could we estimate, or do we just not know yet?
I couldn't venture, Doug, at this point to say how long it might take.
Is there any chance that we may not have the results on election night, and it may take more than one night to count them?
County clerks have been discussing that may occur. We just don't know.
But it is a possibility.
I would say it's a possibility.
Now, Debra, just so everybody's clear, the normal voting centers will be open on Election Day. Is that right?
That's right, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Are there any special social distancing regulations?
Absolutely. We are putting the machines so that they are the recommended 6 feet apart. Our voter check-in stations, where the voters go first to check in and get their ballot, those are socially distanced. We will make sure that we don't have crowds congregating in an area. And we also have touch-free voting as much as we could. So voters will use a paper straw to mark their choices on the ballot screen.
Now,
that way they aren't touching the machines. And, of course, we will be regularly sanitizing that equipment as well.
Now, again, I'll ask the same question about the voting centers. Do all these precautions mean that the voting may be a little slower than usual?
I would anticipate that. As we've seen across the country, it does slow things down because we can't allow large groups to enter into that area where the voters are. And, we have to control the crowds that come in. And then we'll have a certain flow of the voters. And then after they've voted, we will ask them to, leave the center as soon as they are able to.
So it might behoove people to show up early if they can.
Yeah, and we do, Doug, have on our website, it will be active on Election Day. We have each center shown on a map, and we do have the estimated waiting time at each center. So I think that might help voters kind of gauge where they want to go and when.
Debra, is there anything else people should know about voting in 2020 that may be different or that they should be cognizant of?
Well, we do have early voting, as you know, is continuing in the atrium. And it is a good time to come if you know who you want to choose. And if you aren't getting an absentee ballot, you can go to the atrium and vote. It's open 8:30 to 4:30. The last day to do that is August 17, which is the day before the primary. And, of course, the longer you wait as it approaches that end date, the more people we get there. So I would say if you know who you want to vote for, I would recommend doing it now, either by absentee or early voting.
Now, Deborah, I should know this, but I don't, so refresh my memory. The early voters, are they counted after the regular election too, or is that just counted as part of the process?
Well, it's part of the process.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And I will also mention we do have a drop box for absentee ballots. It's a 24/7 box where voters can deposit their absentee ballots securely in there. And that way, if they choose not to use the Postal Service, they can feel comfortable putting their ballot in that drop box.
Okay.
And we also have set up boxes at each town clerk's offices in Albin, Burns, and Pine.